All right, so with our gorgeous Mr. Sterling, ready? We'll do a little find it. Oh, he says I lost it. So with Mr. S, we're just going to warm up with a couple little find its with orientation back to me. Yes. And then we'll do another one for the handsome guy. So again, the value of doing some of these lovely little find its is you're helping your pup kind of get more in the groove, decompress, add some movement. So we're getting him up and moving. And then we might go, Sterling, come. Yes. His recalls have been really, really nice. He even, during play, can come check in and then go back into playing again, which is really, really beautiful. Yes. Good job, Mr. S. Ready? Find it. 2, by the way, nice job chopping up your snacks, by the way, Mom. So I know it's awkward, when you've got like giant snackies and you did a really good job enjoying them. But this is beautiful. So very impressive work with your cutting skills. So ready, Sterling? Come. So right there, he was a little distracted, and then he did a really nice job coming back from that odor. Ready? We'll do another little find it. So all the gorgeous guys are doing a really stellar job. Today I even have like another little pupperoo that came to visit, but she's not part of the program. I'm just watching her for the day, so she's here for right now. Ready? So find it. But the boys have been really enjoying wrestle with her, which is nice. Yes. So even if at times I'm not able to say the word, so let's say I didn't get to do my recall word, but my dog came and reoriented back to me from the environment, that would be a really wonderful moment to capture that sort of check-in. Nice job. So the way you can start to do a few more advanced sort of skills is get him to be up and distracted, start moving around and see if he orients back to you as you're moving, and see if he comes to find your body to the side of your body or like even right to the front of you. So because then from there you could do a little bit of loose leash walk-in. Yes. And feed for all these great engagement moments. He's doing a really nice job. What a smart boy. So we might do a little find it. Gorgeous. The boys are trying to wrestle on the side over here. Nice. So again, this helpful sort of disengagement with a find it can be another great way. Ready? Find it. You didn't see the last one. Another great way to create that disengagement so they can reorient back to you once more for practicing that loose leash walking. Yes. Gorgeous. What a brilliant boy. So I know earlier with Mr. B, we were working a little bit with that front and also going to our side or finish position. Again, sometimes the more little skills you have under their belt, the more variety of things you could try to have them offer when sometimes they're either too excited or a little flustered. Nice. Sterling, come. Yes. Brilliant boy. So good. Nice work. So maybe now that he, might be a little bit more warmed up, I want to see if we can work a little bit with some weights with recall again with him and see how they're progressing. So right here, I'm just going to do a recall from the environment. So Sterling, come. Yes, what a good job. Too, I do have my little one here helping as well, but then she takes little breaks too. So we'll get a little sit. We're going to tell him to wait, and we'll see if we can get him to hold back just for a few moments. Sterling, come. Nice job. So very pretty. So then we'll try another one. He's like, sure. So we'll tell him to wait. If, again, just like when I was working with Mr. B earlier, you find that adding too many, variables to the equation equals your puppy doesn't do so well, I would recommend to pick and choose and see where they're having the hardest time and stick to the easiest to middle for now and then build in the harder as they do well. So right now he's just waiting. I don't mind if he sits or downs for right now. The main goal is he's waiting until we do call him forward. So Sterling, come. Gorgeous. 2, if your puppy, like I mentioned with Mr. B, with Bernie earlier, is if your dog does a better job in a down position, chewing is still an optional task. So, but if they do a better job in a down position versus a sit, that could be a very nice option. So again, we're going to rock that down. And now I'm going to tell him to, again, wait. He's like not as cozy as earlier. So we'll see if we can get a little side sort of sit or sort of side lie down. So again, we're going to lower down. Yes. I'll feed for that. And I'm going to tell him to wait. And we'll see if I can add a teeny bit of moving around him. If this, again, was too challenging, I wouldn't make it too hard. But you want to sometimes start to add in some natural movement and typical things you might be rocking, like going to load the dishwasher or go and sit down at your table or whatever it might be too. Sterling, come. Nice. Very smart boy. So we'll maybe try another one of those. Chewing is still not on the table for learning quite yet. Down. Nice. So I'm going to tell him to wait. He's like, I am so eager for these goodies. He's doing a real nice job. Two, if you're finding your puppy's having a harder moment, Sterling, come. Keep things easy peasy. So on the lower end of the criteria for greater success, let's say, for example, if he was having a really hard time, well, chewing is one of them, and there is a water dish right over there. So he could go grab a little water if he's parched. So, but let's say your babe is having a really hard time holding still with the wait. So wait again could be used for wait before being called, wait before hopping out of the car, wait before being fed, all these little moments where you might be holding back before visiting, maybe even a family member or friend. So right now we might tell him to wait, even if he sat up right over there. Sterling, come. Nice, good job. And I might jackpot him a little bit for that one. Really pretty. A couple extra bonus bits for doing a great job. So, but let's say your puppy couldn't be stationary. They were having a really hard time. You could go again into those find its, and then from there, work your recall. So Sterling, come. Oh my gosh, chewing. You may have to go get a drink soon. He's like, no, it's fine. So we'll do another little find it. Sterling, come. Yes, what a good job. He's doing stellar. Ready? We'll do another find it. And then Sterling, come. Nice job. So again, as he's working through some of those recalls, he's still building up that coming when called is a really good positive association, that it doesn't equal like the end of something, but the beginning of maybe something very cool or fun or delicious or engaging. I'm just going to do a little bit of loose leash walk in and see if he can kind of hone in on one side or the other. Nice. So right there, yes. So remember in the beginning, it's not necessarily having to be about perfection. It's more, again, progression. So you're looking for these moments where your puppy is giving you, again, those little glimmers of the beginning stages of those big boy, big girl skills for down the road. Yes. Smart boy. Very pretty. He's doing a real nice job. So maybe we'll go ready. We'll do another little find it. I know it's over by the door, but that still counts. Sterling, come. He's slowly meandering now. Good job. Two, if you're ever doing some of these nice little recall practice moments, I know we did a few earlier with my little one where she was having to be one of the recall people and then we bounced back and forth. If you're ever doing recall practice with other family members or friends, just make sure that it's someone the dog feels comfortable with. If they're a little intimidated or nervous around new people, I wouldn't ask them to come when called to something spooky, because that could be another scenario where you are creating a negative association with that recall. So even though there's food involved, it may still be a potential for ruining your skill or ruining your food as a positive association. Because even though they want to have food, it's also paired with the spooky thing. So now the food might be the precursor to the bad happening. So you do want to be careful there. Find its might be a better option where it involves moving away from the thing. And then they're also feeling safer because there's distance, but they're also getting a bonus bit for the moving away versus the coming closer. Nice job. So we'll do another little find it. So I know Mr. S is getting a little bit tired. I want to see if we can work a little bit too with his place behavior. I have the cot just nearby. We'll try and see how he's rocking a little bit with going to his mat. I know he's doing great in class here, but also when he came with mom. Good job. He's like, and I've got it. What a good boy. He's like getting comfortable. Good job. So let's say, for example, you're working a bit with this and then attempting to move around the home or going and grabbing for something like an item. Like if, for example, keys or certain things are triggering, like we mentioned with the door, you would want to practice those things, but not always have it equal like you're leaving, and that is the precursor to going away. So let's say we're going to tell him to stay, and I'm going to see if you can rock it for a few little moments. He's a wiggly worm. I don't mind if he wiggles and he's kind of still holding his place behavior, so no big deal. If he wants to adjust and be able to follow me like the weird painting in the room, you know, always watching, that's acceptable. If he gets up, I might go back into the down. Yes. And then I'm going to tell him again to stay. We're going to try again with just a little bit of movement. So if doing a full circle around him was too challenging, I'm just going to go ahead, down. So this time if he keeps wiggling, I'm not going to feed for the wiggle. Ready? Down. And now I'm going to tell him to stay. So I didn't give him anything for that. I want him to start to realize that if we get up, get down, get up, get down, there is no moment for food. But if he holds it and I come back to him and he's still in the position, that's when he gets the morsel. So I want him to think it's for the holding of the position, not getting up and replacing over and over. So right here, I would go ahead and I can feed him for the food on the floor or the food on the cot and start to help him realize that staying low has more value. Nice. This is very pretty. Gorgeous. My little one's just watching a show in the distance, so hopefully it's not too noisy. I know school vacation's fun. We did a couple other activities, but mommy and daddy still have to work. So again, down, stay. So he kind of did a little wiggle. He kind of stood up a little bit. So I just want to start to refine it a little bit where it's for holding the full down stay, not for the popping up and down. If this was more like the beginning stages, I would feed for any glimmer of success on the dog bed, even if he was a little wiggly, you know? Nice. He's doing a very good job. So right now I'm just trying to add a little bit of movement where I'm a little bit further from him and see how he feels about it. So if we get some of this wiggle, so I'm just going to see if I can get him to lower back into the down. I'm going to tell him once more to stay. And two, don't worry if sometimes he is a little bit of a wiggly guy. He's just a little eager. But this is where we're trying to build up that like more of the kind of a little simmer or like sort of softer feel can be good too. This doesn't mean that I'm forcing him into positions. So there's a lot of moments where people are like, oh, you just have to like force them into doing things. And the problem with that is then eventually your puppy may not actually view that as a good association, obviously, because it's always with force. So this is more, let's see if you could try to offer this. Great job for those attempts. Let me feed you for that hard work. And then hopefully that becomes the norm. So again, down. Again, stay. So he hasn't had a little paycheck for a moment now because I want him to kind of hold that down position. Yes. So I'm not trying to make this more challenging, but I want to see if I can start to have him graduate from little steps and see how he's feeling about it. This is really pretty. So let's say I'm going to maybe end it on this rep. And of course, he's on to me. But if he wiggles, if let's say your puppy couldn't manage it down, we're going to tell him again to stay. So that time he didn't really get a bonus bit. We're going to see if he can hold it for another little rep. If your puppy's getting a little confused and they're frustrated or overwhelmed, don't keep going to the point where they almost can't function. So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and feed him for that. And I'm going to tell him all done. And then we can get up and break. So if your babe is really having a challenging moment, you don't have to end on like the good note or with the final behavior, especially if they're mentally or physically kind of out of it. So ready, we'll do a little find it just to get them up and moving. She's like, I didn't see it. Ready, find it. So if we were forcing this situation on him and he was maybe overwhelmed, overtired, maybe something's not feeling well, and we just kept harping on him to go to his place and work the stay position, it may not create a better association for him because now it's with this negative association too of not feeling well or feeling flustered. So we don't want to have our puppies feel trapped or helpless in a situation, but more empowered by doing the skill. You're getting something really nice and very reinforcing from his perspective. So right now I didn't even add the stay behavior. He was just being fed here and there for being on his place. So I might go ready, bed. Yes. And if maybe let's say your puppy's too wiggly for the day, practice going in, targeting the bed, and maybe you can get a bonus bit again by coughing it up. Ready, bed. Yes. So I only feed him for being on the bed, and that's kind of how we start it. Of course, the snack, a little part of it fell out and it's on the floor. So if he then wants to on his own start free sort of shaping and going to it on his own, like right here, I would go, yes, and I would feed him for going there on his own. So you can also capture little moments where your puppy is choosing the right skill and then find those moments to be beneficial from his perspective because he's getting something for doing that really good behavior. So right now I didn't apply my stay. If he gets up and wiggles, there's no consequence even if he were working a stay, but I want him to find value in the being stationary, which for a lot of puppies is the hardest part. So again, I'm right now just feeding for being on the bed. I'm not a stickler for right now working the stay like we were a little earlier in a certain position. I just want him to think there's good here. So if this is kind of how it starts, you could then refine it and this could turn into that gorgeous stay for later. But for right now, I didn't ask for it. I'm just feeding and reinforcing all the good that I'm getting on this dog bed. And then I'm trying to add a little bit of my normal behavior, so like walking around, wiggling. But if he were to step off the cot, it's almost like the floor is lava. Obviously not really, but we're pretending. And in this situation, when he gets off the thing, nothing happens in the sense of reinforcement. Oh, yes, my lovey? Oh, okay, I'll come help you in just 2 seconds. So with Mr. Handsome over here, if let's say he's working with his dog bed, we could just be building up that going to the target has a lot of great value. Nice job. He's doing a very nice job. Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll give him a little pause from this, and then we'll go into working another couple other skills too in just a moment. But he's doing a really nice job with, again, the ability to go to his place behavior and start working that the value consists of being in that spot. And of course, some of the treats probably rolled right underneath into his hair. And he says, guys, I don't know where they are. You gonna find all those crumbs? He's like, I sure am. So, but we'll give him a little breather and then we'll work a few more skills in just a moment with this handsome man. Good job, sir. He's like, I'm just gonna stay here forever. We'll do a little bonus bit for this beautiful boy doing so nice on that dog bed.